Hello my friends all over the world, wherever you are. William Poloniak here again from Whole Health Foundation. And in today's juice, I'm making a full body rejuvenation and nourishment juice using wild dandelion for my greens and French sorrel. Both of these will nourish and cleanse every gland in your body. And the nice thing about French sorrel is it sweetens up your juice. Let's take a look at the rest of my ingredients. In addition to the wild dandelion and the French sorrel, I have carrots, 180 grams of turmeric, 180 grams of ginger, and 1 garlic head. The nice thing about French sorrel, as I said, it sweetens up your juice, but you can't buy it in the store. You have to find it in a plant nursery and grow it. So let's make some juice. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is put in my grid and plug in the thermometer and start with 3 ice cubes to cool down the cutter. And I want to point out that I'm using the near zero blowback cutter in here and the front loading feed tube. So first I'll do the ice cubes. I'm going to cool down my cutter and my feed tube, and I'll start with dandelions. Now this cutter does such a good job, it's like a hot knife through butter, as you'll see. Look at that. Normally greens are very, very difficult to shred, but this cutter is doing a superior job. Dandelion. Now because the near zero blowback cutter does such a good job, you're going to be tempted to put in more greens, but resist that temptation. Put in less greens, it's more effective. Okay, I'm doing the last of my dandelion. Now I want to point out that dandelion is very, very bitter as a juice, and that's because of the minerals, which are very, very beneficial. And to make the juice a little more sweet, I'm putting in French sorrel, which tends to sweeten up any juice. And of course carrots will as well. So now I'll start with my French sorrel. Now before I finish my French sorrel, I'm going to add some turmeric. When you do greens, sometimes a little puddle of juice forms down here, and I'm going to do a close-up of what to do. And basically you feed in a few carrots, but instead of pushing them through, let the pulp come up to absorb this juice down here. So let's do that now. Okay, now I'm going to feed a few carrots in. But this time I'm going to let the pulp come out to absorb that juice. I'm going to clean my grid and then do the rest of my greens, the rest of my ginger, and do the carrots. The last of my French sorrel. So 3 more ice cubes, and then I'm going to clean my grid and continue with carrots. Now feeding carrots in, pushes the last of the greens pulp through, you can clean off the grid again. And carrots have less fiber, so you don't need to clean your grid as often. But now I'll do the rest of my carrots. Now, I really like this front-loading feed tube, and I'm just going to show you again the difference. Pushing down is ergonomically not as comfortable as pushing forward. So I'm going to continue. And not only that, you can see what's happening. Now, when you're down to the last of your carrots, there's always some produce in here, usually a carrot or greens or so on. So you want to put some pulp in the feed tube and force that last plug through, as I'm going to do now. And then you clean the grid, the feed tube, and mix your produce to make some juice. So there, we're done. So we'll clean the grid, the feed tube, the cutter, mix the produce, and make some juice. I'm rotating the bowl in both directions because I want to mix the greens really well with the carrots. And now I'm going to demonstrate again my less work 6-cloth method. So I'll put 3 generous ladles of pulp in the cloth, fold it in thirds, a tight package, the tighter the better, set it aside, and I'm going to press 2 cloths at once. And I found out that pressing 2 cloths is ideal, not 1, not 3, not 4, but 2 cloths is the perfect package. You get the best pressure and the most juice that way. So 2 cloths, 2 cloths into the press, and you want to center it left to right, center it front to back, adjust it if you need to, all the way back, back it off, turn on the machine, and continue. 3 ladles. Folding it into thirds. Nice tight package, the tighter the better, set it aside and continue. And when I'm down to my last cloth, you advance that all the way. Here's the 6-cloth method. This goes forward, this goes over, the spent cloths go on top. Another set of 2 cloths goes in the press, centered left to right, centered front to back, all the way back, back it off. Now there's 2 methods that I'm going to show you. If there's a puddle of juice in the collection tray, you take the spent pulp, crush it up, put it in the puddle of juice to absorb that juice. When you're on your last cloth, advance that all the way. And another method, you don't throw away this pulp. What you do is you put new pulp, but only 2 scoops. Later on, you'll put only 1 scoop, because this patty will get thicker and thicker. So 2 scoops. And again, my less work 6-cloth method. This goes forward, that goes over. The spent cloths go on top. And again, very, very important. Centered left to right. Centered front to back, adjust it if necessary, all the way back, back it off a little bit. You do not want that to go up too fast. These cloths are very, very slippery. If it goes up too fast, they may slip apart and you'll have a mess to clean up. You don't want to do that. 2 scoops full of pulp on top of the old pulp. Nice tight package. Flatten it, set it aside. And again, you do not throw away the old pulp. Put 2 scoops on top of the spent pulp. It's getting full, so we're going to stop. This goes forward, that goes over. Spent cloths go on top. And you don't want this to drip on your countertop, so you want to set that back, but not a little bit. You want to set it back so it's very, very obvious. If you set it back just a little bit, mark my words, you will forget and you'll damage your tray And that's about $100 expense you don't want. So let's put this into bottles. So I'm filling the bottles and leaving about 10% for filtered water. I use distilled water because I have a water distiller. And I'm going to top that off later with distilled water, cap it and put it in the fridge. So let's make more juice. Alright, as you can see, I've repackaged the spent pulp into 3 tighter packages, and I'm going to demonstrate how the Whole Health Foundation model juicer with this solid bottom plate can make 10% more juice. Actually, more than 10% more juice. I'm going to use a measuring beaker to show how that's done. And first we'll put 2 cloths into the press, right in the center, centered left to right, centered front to back. Make sure it's on the tray securely. And this time I'm going to push it all the way back, and when I get juice flow I'm going to back it off because I don't want this to go up too quickly. Back it a little bit. Now as soon as we get traction between the 2 cloths, you can advance it a little bit more. Advance it a little bit more. And when I can see I have traction, I'll advance that all the way. Again, the Whole Health Foundation model with the solid bottom plate, you could leave this up a minute or longer if you wanted to. What I usually do is, as long as there's a steady flow of juice, I'll leave the press out. As soon as I get drops, I'll back it off. There's about 7 ounces of juice. It's very important to keep your eye on these cloths when you're at this last step. You don't want anything to go too fast. Well, there's 16 ounces. Well, I'm going to stop the video here. I don't want the video to be too long. So I'm going to pour this. This is the equivalent of over 1 16-ounce bottle. And I want to point out again that the most valuable nutrients are in this last 10% of your press. The micronutrients that you squeeze out of your produce is very, very valuable, especially this last 10%. So let's fill more bottles. Now I've got exactly 10 bottles of juice, and I'm topping it off with distilled water. And I'm going to cap this off and put it in the fridge. Now next to the last step is to wash the cloths with cold water, no soap. Scrub out the pulp, fold them in thirds like they came packaged, and press out the water. And then you put them in a plastic bag into the freezer. And the reason you put them in the freezer is germs can't grow in the freezer, and they're not exposed to airborne contaminants. And then into a plastic bag and into the freezer they'll go. Alright, from this session I got 10 bottles of juice, and remember, more than one of these bottles was from the repackaged pulp that we got using the Whole Health Foundation Premium Model Juicer. And what I'm going to do is take one of these bottles, pour a little into this glass for a taste test. Okay, my friends, I'm sharing some juice with my new friend Cole.
Cheers.
Tell me what you think of this, Cole.
Smooth.
I like it.
Delicious.
Yeah, it sure is. Cole is formerly a professional baseball player who lives here in Encinitas, and he came by today for a juicing demonstration. Well, my friends, I hope you like what you see, and if you do, please tell a friend. If you'd like to call me, my phone number is 760-753-0321. My email address is developtrust@cox.net, and my webpage is wholehealthfound.com. Here's to your health, Cole.
Cheers.
Boy, I love fresh pressed juice.